Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Highrise City, and welcome back to New Belfast. I hope you're having a good one. I am excited to be back. There have been some changes since the last episode. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy, but I did decide to build another bridge because I figured another bridge connecting over to the more recently developed side of the island. I say more recently developed. Newly developed doesn't apply either, because this is, regardless, I thought a second bridge would be a good way to alleviate some of the traffic stresses that this bridge was experiencing, and it absolutely did. This bridge actually doesn't have all that much traffic anymore at all, which is fantastic, and this intersection is handling the traffic a fair bit better than this little setup was doing previously as well. So all in all, it is an absolute win, which is fantastic news. And I've also, between episodes, developed a little bit more of this space. So we have a bunch more housing in here. We also have things like this. We have an advanced training center, which, if I remember right, it just improves the efficiency of nearby office buildings. It is also something that level 3 office buildings want. So having the advanced training center nearby is a good thing for level 3 office buildings. In fact, I would be tempted to build another one over here, and I probably will once we develop this space that little bit further. But there's a few things we need to do before we do any more development, because at the moment we are consuming more fruit than we are producing. We are doing okay on vegetables. We are consuming more spirits than we're producing. We are consuming more clothes than we are producing. The same goes quite a bit for bakery products, and that's kind of just getting to be a thing across the board. We don't have enough furniture either. So we need to go through basically, and we need to improve all of our production. Now, fortunately, between this episode and the last, I did get a bit of an upgrade for my fisheries. They now go up to level 3. So all of these little guys down here, every single one of them needs to be upgraded. And doing that has brought our fish production up to 80. Our consumption is 67. So we should start to see a really nice surplus of fish in and around here at some point. I also got an upgrade for the wheat farms. So they are all now level 2. Which means that our wheat production is 79, while our consumption is currently 50. Now, keep in mind, beer needs wheat, but we're doing okay for beer. Production is 5, consumption is 1. So bread is essentially the problem. Consumption is 35, production is 25. We need more bakeries. So that's what we're going to get started with here today. We have a bunch of bakeries in and around this space. Honestly, I'm thinking of taking up a little bit of this space down here for a few bakeries as well. So let's do 1 and 2 of those and see what exactly that does for us. It gives us 35 on the production. Wheat is still doing totally fine, honestly. Consumption is 50 at the moment, so I'm not really too worried about that. Flour consumption is 35. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get 1 more bakery and then have a look at flour. So production is 40, or sorry, production is 30, consumption is 40. So we will need another flour mill. If we go and have a little look, we have a bunch of them in and around there. Maybe we just do another one right next to the bakeries. I think that's exactly what we'll do. So it's now 40-40 on the flour. Wheat is still doing just fine. In fact, we could probably get even more flour in here, but that should deal with the demand for bakery products, which means people will be a little bit happier. That's kind of a major factor in why we're not making as much money now as we were. Essentially, people are starting to run out of new furniture. They're starting to run out of bakery products, and the more goods we give to the people, the more money we continue to make. So, I mean, we've got bakery stuff sorted out. We got baked goods sorted. So I guess at this point, since we essentially have no furniture and consumption is double the production, let's take a look and see what we can do about that. So if we go back here and have a look at furniture, the furniture factory is going to consume 9 wood and create 4 furniture. Now, what I'm thinking is I could get a couple little furniture factories down here that might not be the worst idea in the world. I mean, it puts this space to some decent enough use, which is kind of a good thing. We have this little space down here too. We have these furniture factories in here. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let me put one there and one there and see what that does for production. So production is still not high enough. That's a little bit surprising, actually. I was expecting it to be okay. I'm also wondering if putting so many trucks or so many, I guess, industries in this one space is maybe not a good thing. I have a feeling that it isn't, but I'm going to continue to do it at least for now. We'll do 2 more of these little guys, which brings this up to 28, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm also going to get another, I think we're going to get another regional haulage company. And I think putting it right down here might not be a bad idea. So we'll spin it around, put it right there. That should be pretty good. That'll be a bunch of trucks for these guys. And if we look, wow, our wood consumption is 111 right now. That is something. That is definitely something. Maybe we should look into a new source of wood. We do have $5.7 million, so I could purchase this tile, I would assume. How expensive are we talking for this tile right here? 3.4 million? You know what? I'm gonna do it. Absolutely gonna do it. I want that space. I want to expand my lumber industry up that way. So let me grab a new road and we're just gonna bring it straight out this way. It's gonna go to about there, and that should be pretty good. So if we go back and we have a little bit of a look at our lumber industry, some small loggers out here, I would assume will do pretty good. So we can get 100% here. We can get 100% here. We can get 100% here and 100% here. These guys, I don't know if they need water. I don't think they do. I also don't think they need power. So how are we doing on wood production now? Production is 99. Consumption is still 111. What do these guys actually do? They really don't seem to produce all that much, huh? So if I do all of this, that brings my wood production up to 139. That's a lot better. That is what we're looking for. So that should sort out the issue with furniture, which is great. Now, who is complaining about not having water? Do you guys really need, okay. So they do need water. That's what we've learned here today. They absolutely do. So we'll run a little pipe from this intersection straight out to the end of that road. These guys should be covered by the regional hauler, which they absolutely are, which is fantastic. And we're also having some job problems. There's a lot of available jobs, not enough workers. We will deal with that, but I need to make sure the money's coming in, you know? I need to make sure they got the baked goods so that they're paying their taxes. I need to make sure that they've got enough fruit. So consumption 64, production 59. I suppose what I might do right here, what is this? Improve. So if I build 2 fruit farms, I can get a better sheep farm? Absolutely. I was gonna do 1 big tile for the fruit farm here, but you know what I'm gonna do now? Just because I want the better sheep farm, bring this out, bring this over, bring this guy straight up to here, and this will just be 2 new fruit farms. I needed them anyway. That was kind of perfect timing. I'm not gonna complain about it. So we will go right here, and we will go right here. And that should mean that I get the better sheep farms. There we go. We got a new building. So where are my sheep farms? They were down here, right? Absolutely. So upgrading you gets me 50% more wool. That's pretty good timing, actually. We are still having problems with, you know, clothing, but my wool production is now 34. Consumption is 21. And then, yeah, consumption of clothing is 21. Production is 15. So we just need another textile factory. I'm basically just bouncing all over the place today, trying to bring up all of the industries a little bit and trying to get them sorted out. So I think what we'll do is put a textile factory right down here and have a little bit of a look. Production is 20, consumption is 21. So I think we're going to need another one of these guys. So we'll just go for right about there, which brings clothing to 25, 21. Wool is, we need more wool production now. That's a little bit unfortunate, and we'll probably need to import more color as well, which we can absolutely do. You guys also need some water. I'm really, I feel like I'm bouncing around everything right now, just trying to get all these problems dealt with. But I think what we'll do, since clothing is a pretty big need for people, I might do a huge sheep farm up there just to sort of fill in that corner. I don't know if we need to go that big with it though. Let's have a little bit of a look and see what this would do. If we go into here and we go to sheep farm, this will have production of 11. Honestly, that's probably good enough. I think we can work with that. I'm also thinking we should probably get a bus stop while we're out here. So this bus comes in and kind of loops around. So putting a bus stop right here would cover those 3 farms, which I think is fair enough. And bus route 5 is the route in question. So it starts up here. Can I add another stop? Click to switch to station stop and select mode. Jump to station and stop. Can I add this guy in here? That's really not what I was looking for. That's the last waypoint on the route. So what is it doing? That's not even the bus stop that I wanted. Oh! Wait, what have I just done? What have I just added that to? Oh, I added it to... I actually don't know what I've added it to. I'm actually... Hold on a minute. What have I done here? So that's number 1, that's number 2, that's number 3, 4, and then it heads down. And then does it like come back up here and go? I'm very confused about what that stop's doing. So stop Robbins is there. Hold on a minute. What have I just done? What are you doing? Oh, bus route 1 for some reason. Okay, that's not remotely what I was looking for. No, I was looking for bus route 5. Right? That was the goal. I was looking for this bus route. And then I needed to do this. This station stop is the last waypoint in the route. That's not remotely what I'm trying to do. Why is it editing the wrong bus route? Okay, so now we're good. Basically, I just had to get rid of stop 1 and kind of shuffle it around this way and rearrange everything. But now this is connected to that bus route. I have no idea what was going on there, but honestly, it's fine. We should be good. Now, looking in here, my production for wool is 47, consumption is 35, so we should see the clothing situation sort itself out a little bit. We should see the fruit situation sort itself out just a little bit. Now, we do need more workers. We will deal with that. I also want to get some toys production going today because I think that's going to be very good for us. And then spirits, that's another problem. So corn production is higher than consumption, which is great. Let's have a little bit of a look at getting ourselves another brewery. So we have, or distillery rather. We have 6 of them already, that's considerable. That's a good amount of distilleries, but you know what? We'll put another one, I'm going to say right about there, I think is a solid spot, which gives us 35 production, 32 consumption. And if we look at our corn, we are 36, 35. So we are still in the positive in terms of production right there. So that more or less puts us in a good spot across the board, which is what I'm looking for. We should see the number of spirits start to increase. We should see the number of clothes start to increase. Same with fruit, which means my money situation should stabilize. And we should hopefully start to see more money coming in here. Although I might need to deal with the job situation before I get too carried away. So looking at you, 61 more workers. You are just full at the moment. You need 110 more workers and you need a bit of a connection for one of these guys. So looking at this regional hauler, you cover pretty much all of that. I suppose looking at you, we'll just extend you up to about there. And that should be pretty good. And then we'll extend you a little bit up to about there. So yes, we have some overlap, but that should be okay. Now, in terms of getting workers in here, I think what I'm going to do is look at filling in some more of this space. We have got pretty considerable demand. We have no one, I think, that is unemployed currently, which is very good news for us. But what I think I'll do is maybe look at engineer zones. Maybe we look at a few more of these little guys and see if we can get something kind of interesting. And I think what I'll also do is just go straight across here and try to fill out a good chunk of this with some engineer zones. So we'll go to about there. And that'll give us a little bit of a coastline with the buildings, which might look kind of interesting. I don't really know if it will. but that's gonna just start to, I don't know, make this feel a little bit more like a Manhattan kind of vibe, I guess. It gives us some pretty cool looking buildings right at the edge of, right at the edge of the downtown area. Now this, the beginning of tourism, I saw a comment recently, it might have been on a video, it might have been on Discord, asking if I had the tourism expansion for this game. I absolutely do, and apparently we are just now getting started with tourism, which is very, very exciting. Probably not going to dabble too much in this right now, but it's still very cool, and we can go through a couple of different levels of tourism, which I'm definitely keen to do. We're also building towards a university hospital, big water pumps. I'm a cathedral, very excited about that. That'll look great downtown. A limestone quarry as well. A space harbor. Ooh, okay. Building renovation. I've no idea what that's about, but we're nearly there, to be fair. 15,000 engineers. We're almost halfway there. That's not so bad. And I guess speaking of engineers, what do you guys want? So you guys, oh boy, you want books now. That's gonna be problematic. You also happen to want more shopping, which I guess is fair. We'll deal with the toys thing in a second, and more leisure and a bit more education. Okay. So I suppose if we go and have a look at leisure, we have the city park available, which requires mowing tools as well now. We might have to import those. We have a movie theater as well, which for some reason requires mowing tools. That's an interesting choice. That's definitely okay. Fair enough. You know what I might do is clear out some of these buildings. This isn't going to be the best move because we do have a demand for workers, but I want to clear out some of these buildings. And I kind of want to build a movie theater right on this corner. I think that's kind of a cool spot for it. So right about there, we're going to build a movie theater. That will give people a bunch of leisure around here. And then in terms of mowing tools, it's just wood and iron, right? Oh, it's almost entirely iron. Okay. We also require whatever that is. Glass? Do we need to make, oh no. Do I need to make glass now? Is that a thing? If we look at industry, we look at this, so that's iron, that's wood. I don't know what that is that it requires at this stage. I'm slightly scared to ask. So it's a paper mill, it's a printing house. Am I gonna have to start importing glass? No, I can make it. So a quartz quarry will give us quartz, and then a small glass furnace uses coal and quartz to make glass. Okay, do I have quartz anywhere? That's the real question. Oh god, it's in my farm. it's in a farm. Oh wait, no, we have quartz right here. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, that's very, very lucky. It might not be enough, but I'm gonna go here, and if I go here, I can actually build two of them, which I'm 100% gonna do. So 2 quartz quarries right there. We already have some coal production, right? How is it looking right now? Production 12, consumption 8. You know what? I think another coal. I need glass to make a coal mine, really? Okay, what about a charcoal kiln? So it's just using a bunch of lumber again. I suppose we can build, I'll just build a charcoal kiln right down here, and that'll be fine. Now you guys are complaining about water. We can absolutely get that sorted for you nice and quickly. So right down to there and over to there gets us sorted with the water situation. You are complaining about missing resources and workers. Again, we'll get all that sorted. And that'll start to give us some quartz, which means we should be able to go back to industry, into construction materials, and then build ourselves a glass furnace. Oh boy. This is, wow, nowhere near the size of building I thought it was going to be. All right, that's totally fine. It's a tiny little glass furnace. That's all right. Let's just build it right down here on the coast. And that means we should now have glass as a resource at the top of the screen. We do, which means I can track something else at the top of the screen too. And I think just because I've been so keen to get it working, I'm gonna put bread up there. I think that's the right call. We're also doing pretty well across the board here with everything else. It's all starting to come up a little bit, which is great news. We do need to get ready meals. that's something that we need to get going as well, because ready meals can be used in a canteen to make my offices a bit happier. I think it's ready meals anyway. Regardless, we should now be making glass if we have the workers for it, which we don't. So, I mean, I suppose what we do is just build a few more engineer zones. We'll build another little something right here. And I guess on this side, I mean, the zoning is a little bit less neat on that side. So I think we'll go down from engineers to employees and maybe look at these spaces a little bit. So we could fill out that space and that space. We can fill out all of this and this. And then maybe just since we have a little bit of demand, let's do some office zones just sort of around the outside of these roads. We're actually missing a resource for right there, which is really unfortunate. So I'm just going to bulldoze you and see if I can't, once we get some bricks, we'll fill that in. Now that should be okay. We should have those filling up relatively quickly. We do have a good number of new workers coming in here, which is great. And you are going to be needing, we are going to be needing those mowing tools to get this up and going. So let me have another look at mowing tools. This thing needs bricks and needs glass to be constructed. Bricks shouldn't be a problem. And honestly, I mean, glass at some point shouldn't be a problem. I guess my concern here is how do people get out this way? Although this one does have workers now. I would assume they're all driving, right? Yeah, everyone's driving out here, which is a little bit unfortunate. Where's my nearest bus stop going to be? And can I get a new bus stop out here? We have a bus stop right here. We have a bus stop right here. I don't think I can get this to be any sort of ideal setup. I think people are just going to have to drive to the mines, which is fine, I'm sure. It'll be all right. Oh, so apparently we also have ferro concrete, which is a thing that we need to stay on top of now. That's slightly concerning, I'm not gonna lie. I'm really not too sure about all these construction materials, but I mean, it makes sense that we would have to be on top of all these things. I suppose what I'll do is I'm gonna put beer up there now so I can stay on top of my beer supply. And we do have some glass now as well, so let's go into industry. Let's go to mowing tools and get myself a mowing tool manufacturer, which is a tiny little factory that can go right there. And that should mean that my movie theater can get up and running, and that should mean that these guys are a little bit happier with their leisure services nearby. Now, in terms of toys, that is something that people do want to get their hands on around here. If we have a little bit of a look at toys currently, consumption is 2. So toy production is going to use iron and it's going to use wood to make 4. So 1 factory will be enough to cover our current demand. So this thing is a 4x4. I don't know where exactly I want to put it. It doesn't pollute like crazy, which is good. So maybe just right here or even in here would be kind of an interesting spot for it. I think that's actually what I'm going to do is put it there, rotate it, and then bring a little road across here just so that, you know, it does actually have road access. So straight across there should be pretty good. I don't know if I can do, no, I can't do teeny tiny little sections of road, unfortunately. I could do an angle here if I wanted to, which I don't know that I want to. I don't know that that looks any better either. So you know what? We'll just sort of leave that be as a little dead end right there, but we'll speed things up just to get this thing built. And it's actually a pretty cool looking factory. It's really nicely detailed, and that's something I'm noticing with a lot of the buildings in this game is they are really nicely detailed. But regardless, we're in a good spot here. So we are going to be making toys. That'll deal with that need. My iron consumption is 7 right now. My production is 4. That's got me a bit worried. Also, I don't need like better concrete for any of these 14 lane roads. Oh my God. Okay. I don't, oh man. Oh, where were they when I was playing City Skylines? Let me see here. So an iron smelter is probably not a bad idea. It's going to use iron ore and coal. So looking at iron ore right now, my production is 12. That's good. looking at the coal situation, production 16. So yeah, we can just get ourselves another iron smelter and it's going to live right about there. That should sort out the, oh, production is now 6. That's actually not great. But you know, just seeing that little pop-up about research milestones completed, that reminds me that there's a few things we can do here that will make my life so much easier. If I go to resources, I can go down here and I can have mines with low resource density reach maximum productivity. That's one thing that's good. But I can also improve logger productivity so it goes over 100%. So I'm going to get that because that means my loggers should be more efficient. I can also improve the productivity of all mines by 20%. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to increase it by 40%. And then I'm going to increase it by 75% so that my mines are by default 75% more effective. So if I go out and look at these guys, we are at 100% production, 33 here. If I have a look at my iron situation, does that really do anything? Production 12, consumption 12. Okay, it didn't really do much, but you know what? It's fine. That's fine. Let's have a look at my loggers. 126% right there. So if we now look at the wood situation, production 157. So that's something I need to stay on top of, I think. And then if we go back into resources, I could have raw material consumption of all industrial buildings reduced by 4%. That seems like a really good idea. We could go and reduce air pollution by 20%, or I could have my iron smelter production capacity increased by 10%. That seems like a good idea. We can do the same thing here. We can reduce garbage. We can reduce energy consumption. We could do industrial building maintenance costs down. But then I was thinking, what about food? What if we improve the productivity of all of my farms by 10%? That seems like a really good shout. And then I could also maybe increase the production capacity of fisheries a little bit so that we have more fish. Not that we necessarily need it, but doesn't seem like a bad idea. I can increase the storage capacity of industrial buildings. I can have farms requiring 30% fewer workers. Also seems like a good idea. So all of these upgrades are going to be great for me. They're all going to do wonderful, wonderful things. We can reduce the raw material consumption of all industrial buildings by another 4%, which I'm absolutely here for. Industrial building maintenance goes down, mill production capacity, bakery production capacity, brewery, winery, butcher. Yeah, absolutely get that. Building mill requires 20% less workers and labor costs increase or decrease. I have no idea. Less water consumption. Basically, research is kind of a big deal. I can also reduce maintenance costs on haulage companies. I do kind of like that idea. I really, really like that idea. Trade capacity increases, road maintenance costs are 75%. Number of stops per route increased a little bit. I don't really need that one. Infrastructure, what do we got? Anything really good in here? Air pollution goes down by 10%. I don't think there's too much I'm interested in here, but I think if I unlock 10 researches in each of 2 research trees, I'm on 7 in here. So let's increase the production capacity of my smelters, because that does seem like a really good idea. Let's, I don't think I need to worry about low resource density mines. I'm not really too concerned about that right now. This is less electricity for industrial buildings. That actually does seem like a really good thing. And you know what? I have 45 research points left. I'm going to use this one just to max out this tree. So that's pretty good. I like that. And so the cool thing now is my fisheries are up to 150% production, which is amazing. My tool rot is having some trouble, which is fine. My distilleries are at 120%, which means my spirit production is 42. My beer production is 6. My bakery production is 48. We're basically in a pretty good spot for production now. Although bringing down the number of workers needed for farms has left me with a chunk of unemployed people up here in the top left. So we do need to create some new jobs, which I'm absolutely here for. So what I think we'll do is maybe look at creating some office jobs kind of down here. I'm not too concerned about these necessarily being the fanciest of office jobs, but I'd like them to be at least sort of nicely laid out. We'll use a pipette just to fill in that space, and then we'll draw something in here, and we'll draw something back, maybe not back there actually. And that'll just give us some office jobs right there. Yes, they're facing some factories, but they're a little bit lower tier in terms of office jobs. So that should eat up a little bit of the demand for jobs. That should leave us with a few fewer unemployed people. And then you guys are wanting parking and a canteen. You know what? A canteen might be my final project for this episode. I feel like I've been jumping around doing a lot of things. Let's, at the very least, give them a multi-story parking lot just to deal with the demand for parking in here. So we'll do this, and that'll hopefully get them to chill a little bit and hopefully make them a little bit happier. I did see a comment, by the way. Someone asked why I wasn't building parking out by the farms in an attempt to deal with the transit issues and the journey times and things like that. To my knowledge, parking lots don't have any impact on farms. I don't think this game simulates parking the way that City Skylines 2 tries to simulate parking. So people will arrive at a building and then you can kind of see that truck just disappeared. I think that's basically what it does. So the buildings kind of have the capacity to store the people and their cars. It's just the journey is the problem. The lack of parking is less so an issue. So that's why public transport connections seem to be kind of important for making people more willing, I suppose, to make those journeys. So that, hopefully that makes sense. That's basically kind of my interpretation of what the game's doing. I don't know if I'm right on that, but I assume that is what the game is doing. Now, let me have a look at you. So you are still wanting more shopping. The nearest shopping for you is this supermarket, but I guess these guys, they do want a mall, right? So if we go into supply and we go to shopping and we go to shopping mall, we have got one over there, but this is huge, man. I always forget how big the shopping mall is. It actually takes up that entire tile right there, but it has an amazing bit of coverage. So maybe this substation should be moved. Maybe we move it sort of down into this little space and I put a shopping mall right in that space there. I think that's exactly what I'm going to have to do because that's about the only space we have for a shopping mall. So let me get wait, can I get the large one? No, I can get the medium one. We'll get a medium electrical substation. It can live right there. That'll still give us decent enough coverage. This building needs to go away. You are going to live right there. And then what I need to do is slow the game down, bulldoze you, bulldoze these pylons, and then bring some pylons down here. So we'll get ourselves a high voltage pylon from here, going right to, oh, there's a substation there already. It's going to go here and then up to that substation. And this one is going to go to there. And I'm going to bulldoze this one just to tidy this all up a little bit. So connect those together. That should put us in a good spot. This should all now be connected and shouldn't be complaining, which means I can go back to shopping, get myself a shopping mall, and it is going to live, I'm going to say it's going to go like this. So that the parking is kind of on the side with the multi-story parking lot and the substation. The buildings are facing the rest of the zoning, and that should mean, if I've done this correctly, and that actually, wait, is this, oh, this is the front of the, oh. That's really unfortunate. I built it sort of facing the wrong way. The parking lot should have been, okay. Can I move you? Can I get this to look better? If I put it that way, I think that looks better. Yeah. So this is sort of the industrial side of the building at the back. This is where the deliveries go. It's a little bit sunken into the ground, but honestly, I'm okay with that. So are you still complaining? You are not complaining about shopping, which is great. You're not complaining about toys either, which is fantastic. you're a little bit unhappy with education and security could be better, but that's not all, it's not all bad. We're in a better spot with those. So now what I'd like to do is start to fill up a bit more of this space. We need more engineers to reach the goal that we have. The next milestone requires quite a few more engineers. So I was thinking about not necessarily building anything down on this curve, but I think I'm going to have to. And I think what we'll do is a little sort of 2x2 space right. Well, you know what? Maybe we do just fill this up, do something like that and let it build out a little bit and see how that goes. We'll kind of just bring some really nice towers around the coastline here and hopefully they're going to be happy. What are they looking like? Security kind of sucks. Leisure kind of sucks. Education really sucks. All right. We can probably do something about that. I think in terms of security and education, we'll take out you. We'll go back. We'll get ourselves a new medium police department, which unfortunately is not going to fit in those spaces. So take out a few more of these buildings. So all of you guys kind of need to go away. We'll do a medium police department. I'm going to say right here. I need to get rid of you. And if I go into education, we can get ourselves a little elementary school right down in this corner, right about there. So that should deal with the security concerns in theory, and that should definitely deal with the education concerns. Although it seems like they might want something a bit more than just an elementary school, which makes sense, to be fair. That does absolutely make sense. I suppose while we're here, we could also look at improving leisure down this way with like a little park. I think that'd be nice. We could do a city park. I don't have the iron for it though. Oh, production 7, consumption 6. Yeah, we're struggling with iron right now, which is really unfortunate. Iron ore as a resource. How is it looking? 21, 11. Okay. I want to say we can make a bit more iron. I think we can get away with that. Let's see here. Small iron smelter. Let's do, I don't want to build too much industry out there, to be honest. Let's just do another iron smelter down this way. I almost wonder if the problem is just the trucks around here, but we'll build it here. That should put us in a good spot. We now have production 9 and consumption is 6. So that's great. I did say I wanted a canteen to be my final little project for today, and I haven't even gotten near it yet, but we absolutely will. I just kind of want to see what a city park looks like. Although, what's its footprint? It is a 3x4. You know what? It would go really nicely right there. So I think, unfortunately for these guys, they are going to be forfeit so that I can build myself a city park right there. And hopefully it looks the part. Let's just replace some of the missing buildings in here with some of these guys. And you know what? That actually looks great. That looks really, really good. It is going to need garden tools and mowing tools. Not super worried about it. You guys are a little bit happier, which is great. Okay. So that kind of worked out. Let's take a look at the last thing we need for some of these offices. So a canteen needs ready meals, which needs flour, vegetables, and fish. We have production 120, consumption 72. I think we're doing fine on fish. Vegetables 78.69, and then flour is 48.40. So we're totally fine. We can build ourselves a ready meal producer, and it is going to go. If I got rid of that little section of road right there, I can put it right in there. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Let me. I want to keep this section of road, obviously, but I just want to make it a little bit shorter. So you are going to go. Ooh, no. You're not snapping to the grid here. You're going to go right about there. So we still have the road connection, but I should be able to go in here and build myself a little ready meal producer. Yes, right there is what I'm looking for. Just fills up the space perfectly. And then now that it's going to be making ready meals, I can get a canteen. This thing has a pretty good sphere of influence, which is great. So I think what I'm going to do is I think it should go kind of as central to this space as possible, but I'm noticing it's a little 2x3 building. So if I just take out you and this park, it kind of fits in there really nicely. So I think that's exactly where it's going to live. We'll build ourselves an engineer right next to the church, just because I can. It gives us a bit of a different looking building in there, which I'm okay with. It's actually a very, very tall building compared to a lot of the things nearby, but it looks neat, and I'm okay with that. So you eventually will be able to produce ready meals, which in turn should make some of these offices a fair bit happier. They do have a canteen nearby, which is great. So they are now almost at 100% efficiency, which is also great. Very, very much okay with that. We also completed some research. We have now produced a ready meal. Let me collect that. Thank you very much. And I should probably track my ready meal production, right? Because we're not using them for much. What do I not need to track? I probably don't need to track fish right now. I would say we're okay to not track fish. Let's throw the ready meals up there and see how that turns out. So production 5, consumption 2. You know what that tells me is I could probably get away with another little canteen over this way. In fact, right in there or even in there is a great spot for it. I think in here makes more sense because these are all offices. So we're going to build it. Yeah, we're going to build it right there. And that should mean that all of these offices also have a canteen nearby, which will make them a bit more efficient. And that is what we're looking for. That's kind of perfect. Okay. So we have ready meals. We have crazy production for a lot of things right now, which is great. It's actually 5-5 on the ready meal production. So we might want another producer for it. And I think I might just get one just to kind of make sure that we're staying on top of it. We'll get another ready meal producer. So production 10, consumption 5. That's perfect. I'm also noticing that all of these haulage companies around here are pretty much maxed out, which is wild. That's pretty wild, actually. I guess we'll get another one. This is probably the downside to having all of my all of my industry right next to each other. We do have the National Haulage Company, which is it a larger building? It is. It transports resources for industry. Manufactured goods are then collected and stored, blah, 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 blah. One truck can transport 50 units up to 100 kilometers per hour. Interesting. So this guy, I think, I'm going to put it here just to see what it does and how it goes and how it works and whether or not the trucks are any visually different to the existing hauling trucks. Definitely a cool looking building. Again, really nicely detailed too, which I'm really, really appreciating. And I would assume as soon as it's up and going, we should have some new trucks coming out of there. And we absolutely do. Yeah, it's these guys. Oh, okay. That's not so bad. It'd be kind of cool if I could change the trucks, but yeah, we are hopefully going to see this thing work out is what we're going to do. Hopefully that's going to just relax things a little bit for the rest of the hauling companies, which would be ideal. This one over here is doing just fine, covering this little section of island. These ones down here, absolute nightmare because all of my industry is in this space. Again, probably not the best idea, but it'll be fine. Regardless, we have a little bit of demand for workers currently. So while we're here, let's see if we can build out another couple of engineer structures here. So we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do all of that as well. And that'll give us just a few more buildings around that coastline, which honestly, I do kind of like. It'd be nice if I could get like a key or something here, but obviously we can't do that in this game. It's not City Skylines. It's not about the aesthetics, but that actually does look kind of cool. I like it a lot. I really do. Are these guys happy enough? They are more or less. They could be better. I still think we might have to start importing spices. In fact, let me have a look here. What's the demand for spice right now? 7? Can I go to my trade ports and import something here? I feel like everything's making me money, so I don't necessarily want to do much more here. Production on iron is 9, consumption is 6. We probably don't need to export spirits anymore. I think we're still doing okay there. So we'll buy spices, they're 500 each, and we'll purchase, I don't know, 100. So 10 of them would be 5,000. I'm pretty sure we can afford. Let's do 25. We'll do 25 spices just to start trying to deal with that particular demand. And it is going up a little bit. It's a very, very little, it's got very little effect and satisfaction, but it is something that they want. It is something we've been neglecting. So hopefully it works out. That's going to be the goal, is that hopefully we can start to fulfill that need, and hopefully that'll keep people happy. Oh, and would you look at this? We are a big city, which is fantastic news. We've got the big water pump, the huge warehouse, which is plus 400 on our storage capacity, the university hospital, which is going to need some ferroconcrete to build, the cathedral, which is also going to need some ferroconcrete. The pastry shop is definitely something, I mean, people are going to be wanting pastries now, I'm sure. Eggs, another thing I'm sure people are going to want. A steel blast furnace. That's going to be fun. That's going to mean we need steel production now. We got a limestone quarry. We've got a cement concrete factory, which I guess makes cement and concrete. Oh no, it makes concrete, which is a ingredient for ferroconcrete. Oh boy. Then the ferroconcrete factory uses, oh boy, it uses concrete and steel to make ferro. Oh, that's a lot of production. That's a lot. That is a lot of production. The technology center increases the productivity of all industrial buildings within range. Building renovation reduces the maintenance cost of buildings within range. The Space Harbor construction site is an interesting one. The spaceport is a huge construction project. The construction resources are delivered to the construction site with a construction depot, which is this guy. Interesting. So we can now mark out a space for a spaceport, which is really cool. Actually, that's really, really cool. Building subsidization. I don't necessarily know what that's about. I'm pretty sure that is a new, oh, look at this thing. Hold on. Is that, oh, that's the size of it. Okay. Well, that's neat. That's pretty cool that we could, you know, mark this out. We have mega towers. Oh, that's exciting. That's very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to that. The technology centers. This thing is going to improve buildings nearby. Building renovation will consume it'll consume this and planks. I mean, we could do that. Reduce the maintenance cost of buildings within range. That doesn't seem like a bad thing. It would have to go like right in the center of an area though, which I don't want to do. Oh boy. The United Nations has decided to build a new spaceport. Your city has been shortlisted as a candidate location, likely because of positive media coverage of your district. I attended the final vote as an observer where your city was selected with 152 out of 193 votes. A key factor in this decision was the favorable conditions of your location, including sufficient construction resources in the surrounding area. This significantly reduces costs and environmental impacts. However, in my opinion, one of the main reasons was that by choosing your city, no nation will have to invest money into the project. Wait, what the? That sounds political. The contract states that if the spaceport is built, your city gets to keep the first satellite that it launched. Any other big city would never be able to handle such a project, but I am confident that you will succeed. Okay. That feels sort of, I feel sort of like, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not sure about that. Although I will say, I do want this guy. 320,000 to build a huge warehouse for plus 400 storage. That, I'm okay with that. I'm actually quite okay with that. So let's get this warehouse. I don't necessarily know where I'm gonna put it. What way does it orient? So it orients that way to the road. In there would be a good spot for it, honestly. Or like sort of up there. in here somewhere would work as well. It doesn't really matter where I put the warehouse, to be completely honest, because at the end of the day, it is just boosting my storage numbers. So I think what I'll do for this warehouse is maybe just put it out here somewhere. Let's see if there's a spot out this way where it could live for now. It would be good to put it somewhere I'm not going to bulldoze eventually, though. And all those farms, their days are numbered. Once I get more tiles, I'm going to start moving them. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to build myself a little section of road right here and right here so that now connects through. I don't know if that's necessarily a good idea, but it does give me room for this warehouse, which I am here for. So it'd be really cool in there as well. That's very tempting. It's going to go there for now, though. Nicely bump in all of my storage. We should see all these numbers adjust. We've also got 350 tons of glass now, which is great. We're really not using that for much, but that's not so bad. We should see all of these numbers adjust eventually, giving us so much more room to just store everything that we could possibly want, which is great. I might build a little, like another large warehouse down here for another 120 storage just to fill up that space. That might not be the worst idea in the world, just again, so we can massively stockpile things. So I think that's actually exactly what I'm going to do, is just build that guy down there. And that's good. We have a bunch of things. I don't think there's anything we need that we're lacking. We are producing enough beer. We are producing enough bakery products. We're producing enough clothing, just about. We are producing enough spirits, enough fruit, enough vegetables, more than enough ready meals. I had to build another 2 of these factories to get an upgrade for my textile factories, which was fantastic news. We managed to get that particular upgrade, but across the board, I don't think there's anything we need that we don't have. Flour would be the only thing that is a bit of a tricky spot, but it's level. It's 48.48. Hops are 16.5. Furniture is 28.29. So another furniture factory would be good, and another toys factory would be good as well. Possibly another clothing thing as well. So let's do that just before we wrap things up. Let's have a look at getting another. Well, I guess we'll try and do this nice and quickly. We'll start with some bakery products. We'll start with a mill. And a mill, I think, can go into this little space here just to fill it up. So a mill goes right there, which brings the flour. The production is now 60. Consumption is 48. We are 87.70 on wheat. So we are good for baked goods, which is great. Next up, the hops are fine. The beer is fine. The wood is fine. The furniture is not. So let's take a look into furniture and get ourselves a furniture factory, which honestly can go right there as well. And now the furniture production is 32. Consumption is 29. We are good on that front. Toys, 4 and 4 is not going to be enough for me. That's not good enough. So let's see, where can I build a new toys factory? We have this one in here, which is a great spot, but it's not enough. We have all this space over here. I'm kind of looking at this space and thinking this is going to be my location of choice. So let's do, oh, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter all that much. I'm kind of being a little bit too picky with this stuff. We'll do here. And that should sort out the toys situation, which gives us production 8, consumption 4. That is absolutely beautiful. The wool situation is fine. Clothing 28.27. Let's get ourselves. Oh, we can do elegant clothing now. Or no, we can. We have to get up to a higher level, but that's sort of a next step in this whole thing, which is very interesting. So textile factories. Let's get ourselves one more of these guys, and that'll be about all I'm really worried about today. I could put it right down here in the water. That might not be a bad spot for it, just right about there. Should put us in a good spot for clothes, which is 34.27. And going down the list, tools, production 3, consumption 0. We are 25 on you. We are 10 on you. 28 on you. Bricks. I mean, brick production could definitely be better. Ooh, coal production is struggling a little bit as well. So I think, assuming we don't have anything else that is overwhelming us, which it doesn't look like we do, We seem to be doing pretty good on the rest of these, which is great. Construct a small iron smelter. Can I mean, what does that give me? $100,000? No, I'm not interested. I think coal, 1821. That is the last thing that we need to look into. So coal is, oh Lord, which category is coal in? I want to say here. Yeah, there we go. So a coal mine would actually be really useful if we have, oh, we do have space there that we could, that's actually the only spot that I can build this thing. Unfortunately, that's in the middle of my sheep farm, which can be upgraded. Okay, I'll tell you what I might do then. So a coal mine can go right in here. I am going to bulldoze this sheep farm very briefly, and I'm going to build a coal mine right here. And that's, is that 90%? That's not a great amount. I kind of want I want the 200. I want 100% and 100%. Can I move you? I absolutely can. Does that give me 100 and 100? It does. Okay. So a couple of coal mines right there. We're going to build some roads that just circle around these guys. So something kind of like this. And then I'm going to build myself another sheep farm in here. And that should mean that we're good. And it's going to be an upgraded sheep farm, which is totally fine. So sheep farm right there. Let's see. So it's level 3. Production is plus 50%. That should keep us good. Let's just double check that wool is doing okay. 53. Totally fine. Okay. That should be us pretty much sorted. I don't imagine, if we look at the coal situation, production 39, consumption 21. Yeah, we are good. And what's more is we could probably start to phase out the charcoal kilns a little bit and just start mining coal instead. Assuming resources don't run out underneath buildings. I don't know if they do. That's something I might want to consider. Also subsidies. Interesting. I can give buildings subsidies now. I don't want to do that necessarily. Hold on a minute. So your production is 175%? Good Lord. Okay, we really might not run into any coal problems for a while. Yeah, we're going to be good there. Okay. That's perfect. We're in a good spot. We have a bunch of resources. We have a bunch of things. I think what I'd like to do is just look at my trade situation a little bit. I think my iron stockpile, I want to increase that to 250. My beer stockpile, I would like to increase that to 250. My hops, honestly, probably fine where they are. Let's have a little bit of a look at hops and just see how that's going. They're not worth much, but we'll increase that to like 300 just to be safe. Bricks, because we're doing so much construction. Honestly, what is my maximum storage now? 1,000? You know what? I'm going to just bring all of these up to 500. So we're not going to be doing any trade for a little while, but I'm kind of okay with that. We have $2.4 million. So if we hold off on trading anything, we can really stockpile these guys, and having a whole bunch of them means it's going to be so much easier for me to come in here and just start filling this out with new buildings. So I want a couple of buildings in there. I want a few buildings across there. And that's going to be some really, really nice zoning just surrounding that entire downtown space. We do need to double our current engineer population to get to the next milestone. I'm totally okay with that, but I'm not going to rush into it. I think now that we have these guys built, what I'd like to do, because we have a lot of them unemployed, I'm going to build a few office zones right here just to give them some places to work. And I might do the same, just extend that a little bit further and then give them some slightly lower tier office zones. And it does seem like bricks are going to be holding me back. So you know what? That's totally fine. This is coming together really nicely. I love the look of this space. I've reached a population of over 50,000 people, which is great news. It looks cool, man. It does. It looks neat. We're starting to get a city. We're starting to get a proper little city in here. A little bit weird that the tall buildings are kind of surrounding the smaller ones in here. I might flip that around at some point and do some smaller apartment buildings right on the coast with the taller buildings in the center. But we'll see what those mega towers are all about when we get those unlocked. I'm really, really curious to see how those work. That's going to be really fun. We should also do something about the transport in and around here, but I did upgrade some roads, so we'll see if that helps us out. But I think for the time being, that is gonna do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure, as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.